Hello, Guitar Smarts fans. Before you check out this podcast, I want to make you aware of a cool new place where you can interact with other Guitar Smarts listeners. It's a Facebook group called the Guitar Geek Hangout. That's where we hang out and talk about all things guitar. So, if you like the Guitar Smarts podcast, come and chat with Kiran and myself over in the Guitar Geek Hangout on Facebook. Maybe check out some pre-podcast clips and even get involved in asking and answering lots of questions from the other page dwellers. Hope to see you there.
Kiran, mate, it's really good to see you. It's been too long. We've been. I don't actually even know when the last time we had a chat. We chat was, but
it's definitely too long. And I know, buddy, it's great to see you too. I'm sorry it's been so long. I think we both had the stars misalign on our various work commitments, family commitments, everything. So it's been on both sides really that we've just not been able to get together in the same place at the same time.
Absolutely.
To do one of the things we love. But yeah, buddy, it's great to see you. Great to see you.
Yeah, but every time I get on this call with you, it still feels like it was just yesterday that we had a chat, which I guess is a good thing, right?
Sign of a great friendship.
There you go.
We just pick up where we left off.
Well, let's do that. Let's pick up where we left off, shall we? Pick up, get it?
Sorry. Oh, I've missed those. I've missed those.
Guitar-based pun. There we go. Tick. If you're playing bingo or a drinking game, that's definitely a shot, I think.
Yeah. My groan was all the feedback you need.
Oh,
there it is.
Mate, I'm going to string people along like this. It's not right.
Come on, we need to put the pedal to the floor. We've got a show to do.
Oh, God, this is ridiculous. Whammy.
Whammy. Right, enough of that. Enough of the. We could literally do this all day.
I know. It's a good bridge to the next section, I guess. At least to have something like that. But
stop.
You're going nuts.
I can't. Oh, he's done it again. You knob.
Oh. Anyway, if you're listening, don't fret. This will end soon.
I trust it will.
I know. Someone's going to wring my neck if I don't stop. Anyway.
Jeez. Right. Go on, I'm strapped for time.
What are we talking? Let's have a quick catch up, right? So we've not spoke for a few weeks. What have you been up to, dude? What's new? How have gigs been? What's happening?
Wow. Yeah, man. It's been a really busy time. With all things musical as well as home and family and work and stuff like that. Where do I begin? So I'll give you the potted version. So I bought a new guitar because I do that sometimes, and I've been teasing you with what I bought and not telling you because I was hoping that we were going to catch up like a couple of days after I'd sent you a picture of my new guitar, and we haven't. So it's been months or weeks at least. I've been helping a friend build his first pedal board, which put me right back down the kind of rabbit hole of what's available on the market right now, what's good bang for your buck. And he's built a brilliant pedal board. So I'm so chuffed, but that's been fun helping out with that with his first proper pedal board. He's really got into it. He's gone down the rabbit hole in a big way. And every day I get texts now of new things going, do you think I should get this as well? I'm only having to apologise to him on a daily basis. He's like, no, I'm loving it.
Apologising.
So we have a new convert. We have a new person into the fold. I did a thing again. I went and saw Joe Bonamassa last week, which was just breathtaking in the not the tiniest venue, but it was a small venue for Joe Bonamassa. I went and saw him in Basingstoke, glamorous Basingstoke, which
Blazing
for those
smoke.
of you that amazing Stoke, even he chose the words amazing Stoke. So yeah, that was just remarkable. And during all this, I've been gigging myself as well, and just loving playing with the band as always. They're such a lovely bunch of guys, and we've done a few gigs, some private parties, some weddings, some nice weddings as well. And yeah, just enjoying my rig. So It's been full on, man. It's been full on. Plus with family holidays and work, but I can't complain, man. There's so much great stuff, and there's been loads of guitar news that's been flying around.
Yeah.
That I've been trying to keep up to speed with. Some exciting stuff. June has been a busy month with guitar related stuff. So yeah, how about you, buddy? How's things been with you for the last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I've been like crazy with just everything in my life except for guitar stuff, but. Right. I have had a couple of gigs. I did a couple of wedding gigs with the band that I usually det with. I say det now. I think I'm just basically getting the first call. But you know how it is with wedding bands. You're never really in a band. You just you get offered the gigs regularly, and they've gone really well. Really enjoyed them. I really like the set that they do because it's not overly energetic for me, but it's still plenty of stuff in there of interest, except for Mr. Brightside, which drives me absolutely insane to this day, and everyone in the band knows it does.
Is it the last song?
It's always the last song. It's the very last song, which I always find hilarious. I've always had this. Kind of a funny feeling about songs in sets for weddings that I always think, well, the subject matter of this is really not like appropriate for a wedding. Mr. Brightside being one of them, ending the night with a song about a man getting cheated on, basically.
Correct. Yeah.
Like I always found it funny when you talked. Do you remember when we did the riff podcast, like our favourite riffs? And one of your favourite riffs was the Eminem song. Lose Yourself. Yeah. And you said that you like that as a intro when you're public speaking, which I always thought was hilarious that you chose a song that was effectively about a man who had difficulties public speaking.
Correct. I love the duality of that.
It's amazing. Yeah. I think but it's definitely, but yeah, so really good couple of gigs. I haven't got any gigs now until about September, but I'm kind of pleased, to be honest. Because I'm really just enjoying playing guitar for myself at home, going to the occasional jam night, like we said before. I'm probably going to retire this year, I think. I'm going to do these wedding gigs this year, and then I'm probably going to knock it on the head. And then from now on, it'll be jam nights and maybe putting a little 3-piece together for a few gigs a year. I just don't need to do the wedding stuff anymore. And I am getting to a point where the enjoyment is less than the work and the effort. And I'm kind of like, I'm out of the house for 12 hours and, that's family time that's really valuable. And like I said, I don't need to do the gigs. It's not like I'm dependent on the income from them. It's nice to have a bit of extra money and to play guitar occasionally. So I think I'm going to knock it on the head this year, which I'm totally cool with. But yeah, just been doing that really. I bought a couple of months back. I bought a mid boost for that gold Strat. I built that parts caster. I've still got to wire it in. I'm procrastinating really badly on it. Need to just get it wired in and tested, and then I'm kind of like that might be my number one guitar now because it's really settled in nicely. The neck's starting to whir in, so it doesn't feel like such a new neck. The edges are starting to kind of roll in slightly. I've got it dialed in just right. It's of all my guitars that have got floating bridges, or trem systems, it's the one that's the most reactive in a way that I like, because the Floyd Rose can do more, but it's a lot more effort. It's not as kind of touch sensitive, actually. Hey, here's another weird thing that I've done for the first time in God knows how long. I've decided to go down to 9s for the strings instead of 10s and 11s. Yeah. And I'm not noticing any tonal difference at all. But man, I'm just loving the feel of having just that little bit more give, especially with the trem systems that obviously you've got to work against a bit more. Still on 10s on the Les Paul. Yeah. But other than that, I've not really been doing much guitar-wise, but let's talk about New Guitar Day for you, right? Because obviously, what does a man with 5 Les Pauls need in his life? What? I mean, obviously, it's not another Les Paul, is it? But what have you gone out and got yourself, Kiran?
Well, it's seven Les Pauls now. because one just permanently lives in the case as the second guitar for when I go out gigging. I don't even bother taking that one out of the case now, because that one just always goes to every gig, and then the rest hang on the wall. So having said that, I will be selling. I've decided to sell one, I think. We'll see. So
decided.
So the big reveal, right? Because I've been naughty and teasing you, and you'll be delighted, hopefully, to know that you absolutely knocked it out of the park got it straight off the bat, right? So I sent you a picture without headstock. Obviously, I'd cut the photo, not I bought a guitar with a broken headstock, but. Basically, mate, I bought myself a Japanese Tokai, and it's an absolute beauty. It really is. So I wasn't. Hold on, I don't need to lie to you. You're not my wife. I was about to say I wasn't looking for a new guitar. Who am I kidding?
I might cut that part out. No, I'm going to leave it in. I want people to know how how you really are.
Yeah, exactly. It's like confessional. I promise, Matt, I wasn't looking for another Les Paul. I'm always looking for another Les Paul. Who am I trying to kid? Maybe I'm trying to kid myself. I think what it was is I've been saying for a long time to you, to myself, to everyone, I really quite fancy a plain top Les Paul, right? Because I've got lots of flamey ones, and that's all cool, right? So, all right, I don't need another one, but I quite like the look of a plain Les Paul. Then, coinciding with that kind of last few months, my social media feed, unsurprisingly, because it knows me, has been littered with images and propaganda around the new Slash Jessica Les Paul that came out, right? Which it looks beautiful, right? But effectively, in true Slash style, I mean, his original Jessica was a factory second that he bought, stroke got given at a discount by Gibson. That was a kind of mutt, because it's like an 87 standard with a 3-piece top, which, isn't that desirable for most people unless you're a Slash fan. I think it looks quite cool and whatever. And he had them refinished, because I think they came in a quite garish cherry sunburst to him originally. So he actually had them refinished into a more muted, faded kind of burst. But it was his number one guitar after the Chris Derrick one for many, many years. And he toured with it, and he had 2 of them, right? And so in true Gibson style, always looking to make another Slash guitar, they released a version of this, right? Obviously going for, crazy amounts of money, but by all accounts, a pretty looking guitar. So I was kind of like, I really do like the look of a plain top Les Paul. And then, out of chance, one of the feeds that I regularly follow, that we've talked about on this podcast before, is a guy called Rob of Whitstable Guitars. Down in Whitstable in the UK, right? Who specialises in importing Japanese guitars, all of the Fujigen stuff, Bernie's stuff, kind of Greco stuff, a lot of Tokai stuff. And I regularly look at his catalogue of things, and there's beautiful instruments on there. And he listed like this post that he just had another glut of guitars arrive, and I looked through it, and it was like a tiny little picture on my Facebook and it had all of these guitars, and I could see just tucked in the corner, and he'd listed out all of the names of each guitars, and he'd said this Tokai Les Paul in mint condition. And I was like, that looks like it's got a plain top. And anyway, I messaged him straight away. He came back to me. I must say, Rob's customer service, absolutely second to none. Yeah. What a lovely, lovely bloke. He came back to me with the price. He came back to me. I said to him, can you check it over for me? And because it says it's mint condition, right? And a lot of what he does is everything from mint condition through to player grade stuff. And he's always very open and honest about what wear is on a guitar. But he was selling it as a second-hand instrument, but in mint condition. So true to his word, he came back to me straight away, checked over the guitar personally, took loads of photos and sent them over to me. The guitar was mint. It still had the hang tags on it. Wow. It still had all the plastic protective films on everything.
So it's as good as new. It is a new guitar.
It's a new guitar. I traced back the serial number to the actual place from Japan where he'd imported it, and I got all their stock kind of description of it. And basically, it must have been owned for like a day or something by somebody who then returned it because they said it had scratches on it. Turned out that and hence they were selling it as a used guitar. It turns out the only scratches on it was on the plastic film on the plastic pickguard. So not even to the pickguard itself, the plastic film that was covering the pickguard had some scratches on it. So this is like a 1,400 quid, like Tokai Les Paul. I hope Rob doesn't mind me telling our audience, but he sold it to me for an absolute bargain. He sold it to me for 860 quid.
That's unbelievable. That's like high-end Epiphone.
Sorry to interrupt this conversation. However, if you're a regular listener, then do us a favour. Share us with your friends. Spread the word. Help us to grow. And remember to hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcasts. Let's get back to the show.
You know, for what is like a... not to disparage Epiphone. I mean, the high-end stuff is fantastic, but this is a level above that. This is a Gibson USA level instrument, right?
Buddy, it's beautiful. It came with a Thomann hard case as well, like a proper flight case included in the price. So it's insane. I got the guitar. Rob asked if I wanted it set up, what gauge strings I'd like, etc. I said, honestly, don't worry about it. I'm going to set it up myself. But he chucked in a free set of strings on top of that as well because he's a nice guy. Got the guitar straight out the box, man. It was set up beautifully. It left Japan set up beautifully. I've looked over this thing. It is mint. Wow. Absolute perfection. The quality, the craftsmanship of it, the neck profile, everything. Absolutely just to my taste. And yeah, honestly, mate, I've A-B'd it versus my Gibsons. And of course, on the Gibsons, you've got the nitro cellulose finish, right? But on this one, the finish is so thin and so resonant. It's beautiful. The bridge post, the ABR bridge is mounted directly into the body, not in bushings, exactly like the old vintage ones. Okay. It's just absolutely stunning, mate. It's a great guitar.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
I put some new tone caps in it just because I like orange drop capacitors. The pots were perfect. Measured all the pots. Nice 500k pots, all perfect. I just put a new set of pots in, and I put my preferred pickups. And I debated about getting a set of Seymour Duncan Slash to put in them, but they're going for like 300 odd quid plus a set now. Yeah. It's really expensive, and I'm like, that's a silly amount of money for a set of pickups. When I've been gigging the Iron Gear Slash pickups really happily in my gold top. So I thought, do you know what? I'll get a brand new set of Iron Gear Tesla Sharks, put those in it, and see if I don't like the sound, or I think it's something missing from there, because I can A/B them versus a set of proper Seymour Duncan Slash pickups, which I've got in other guitars. Then I'll be able to sell the Iron Gears and I'll go with the Seymour Duncans. I put the Iron Gears in and I've gigged it, and mate, they are phenomenal. Absolutely top notch. I'm hard pushed to justify spending 300 quid on a set of the Seymour Duncans, even though they're wonderful pickups, right? These Tesla Sharks are every bit.
I wonder if the only reason really to ever go for the Seymour Duncans is, I guess, the potential for it to add value. Do you know what I mean? To your guitar, if you're thinking of selling it on as an upgraded piece, you can justify the additional cost of that. You probably can't really do that with Iron Gear pickups.
Correct.
But you're still getting the same sonic experience, aren't you?
Exactly the same sonic experience, the same pickup specifications in terms of magnet, in terms of winding, in terms of output, in terms of tonal qualities, even down to like the wooden spacers that they use in the Seymour Duncan ones. The Tesla Sharks have copied the same spec of it. So hence the reason I put the real Seymour Duncans in my Gibsons, for that exact reason. And I keep the Gibson pickups. If it's not a 59, it's not got the huge provenance or whatever, but if I ever came to sell those guitars, or in decades to come, I can say, well, it's got Seymour Duncans in it, and here's the original stock pickups that it came with. There you go. It's fine. I'm less worried about doing that on a Tokai that I'm going to be taking out and gigging and having fun with, right? It doesn't, so long as it sounds like it needs to, it's all good, mate. So that's it. That's the long and short of it, mate. But
that's awesome. I've got a couple of questions about it, actually.
Yeah,
maybe only one. I don't know. You shared with me when you drove me absolutely mad a few weeks ago, when you tell me about this, or not telling me, just sharing enough to know that I would go mad. But still, that's fine. I forgive you.
it's a game.
I honestly
we do, right?
thought you'd bought the Gibson Jessica.
Yeah.
Because this looks just as good as that Jessica does. But I was wondering, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe we'll speak about the Jessica a bit more. That Jessica is it a 3-piece maple top?
It is, correct.
Right, okay.
Correct.
And it's a proper maple cap as well, isn't it? There's no veneers. Is that...
On my Tokai?
Your Tokai is a proper maple cap, isn't it? It must be.
Thick
is
as
it really?
You like.
Really?
It is properly thick. When I stripped down the guitar, obviously. So Tokai model numbers, for those of you that are interested in those guitars, they have the prefix LS, and then they have a 3-digit number after it, right? Or 4-digit number. The numbers denote the cost in Japanese yen of that model. So it's really simple, right? You know, if you've got an LS 50, it's like 50,000 yen or whatever, right? If you've got an LS 140, it's 140,000 yen. If you've got an LS 200, it's 200,000 yen, right? So you can see where the guitar fits within their price range. And Tokai are quite sensible, right? At the lower end of the numbering, it's a Japanese-made Tokai, but there will be cheaper electronics in it. There will be cheaper pots in it. There will be a veneer on it rather than a full maple cap. All of those kind of things, right? So my one is an LS 148 or something. So it's 3/4 of the way up the range before you start to get into true vintage. But the ones at that kind of price range are the same price as the Gibson USA ones. So you're comparing more like Tokai with Gibson custom shop, because you start to get into long neck tenons, nitrocellulose finishes, all of that kind of stuff. So I've pretty much gone in at the top of their, standard range, but that means it's got, proper Japanese stainless steel frets, proper bone nuts, really good pots in it, electronics. I didn't need to change the pickups. The pickups are stunning, these Tokai Mark IIs, but I like my particular set of pickups. But the maple cap on it is proper thick.
And it's a 2-piece
maple cap. It's 2-piece. So one, it's a book matched 2-piece maple cap, 1-piece mahogany neck. So no scarf joint or anything. Exactly like Gibson do their ones with the little.
So no scarf at the neck for that.
No scarf at the neck.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's exactly like Gibson do their 1-piece necks. It is a 2-piece mahogany back, but you can't see the joint. No. It's literally invisible. It might even be 1-piece. I can't remember. But it's, the specs on it.
Does it have a volute?
No.
So a proper original spec.
Yeah.
Wow.
Headstock is the same profile as the Gibson one. It's literally exactly the same. Exactly the same as the Gibson. Right,
because you said you wanted a plain top. Do I see just a hint of flame in there? Is there a little hint of flame?
I don't think so. What you have got is the slight curliness of the maple. So there is some grain. You can see some wood. You can see some beautiful wood grain. Yeah. But it's all plain. It's all plain grain. There's no flame in it, which is what I wanted. But I teased you by taking a shot of the Tokai after I'd done the mods to it and put it next to the Gibson Jessica. I didn't do any color work in photo. I know, sorry. Yeah. But you clocked it straight away. You came back and went, isn't there 2 different guitars in there? But I didn't color correct or do anything different with Photoshop. So the photos of the back and the photos of the front of my guitar are exactly like that. And I got proper lucky, right? It's literally, it looks like a Slash Jessica.
It's the kind of Les Paul that you'd find after going through 30 of them, maybe.
Dude.
You know, it's an absolute stunner. I mean, I think you would have been an absolute madman to have not gone ahead and bought it.
I know.
That's a once in a lifetime find. You know, it's a beautiful instrument, man.
I tell you what it's got, which makes me smile every time. Obviously, there was a couple of things that I was worried about. Robert told me about the condition of it, so I knew it was mint, right? The color match, I was kind of like, well, you know, it's never going to match that, but it's a plain top, so it'll be fine. Again, I got lucky that the color match is absolutely spot on beyond belief, because I couldn't really tell that from Rob's pictures. The next thing was going to be the neck profile. I was like, what if it turns up and it's got a really chunky like 58 neck profile, right? You know, it is what it is. I'll still play it, but it's not going to be my neck profile. It is my exact perfect neck profile. It's just that as soon as I held it for the first time, I just let out a big sigh of relief. I was like, oh, thank God. It's the neck profile that I absolutely love. So that's spot on. And then the next and last thing is, you know, that feeling when you strum a guitar acoustically without it plugged in and it just resonates and it's got this timbre to the sound where you just where it feels like lively.
Really,
this one absolutely has that. You strum it and just the dynamic range of it inherently in the guitar itself is just like boom, that's it. You know it's going to sound good plugged in before you've even plugged it in.
Yeah, God, that's so good. And that really doesn't happen that often, does it? With Lester's, it's just,
mate, no.
It's such
and
a
it stays in
guitar.
tune. It's set up well. The fretwork was immaculate, right?
Yeah.
And once I set it up, it just kept getting lower and lower and lower to the with no buzz, no choke or anything. And I didn't have to cut the nut at all. I did, because that had been cut perfectly. I didn't have to find or chase any slightly high frets. I didn't have to do anything to that. Just set it up as if I was changing the strings. So do the truss rod, do the bridge height that I wanted. The rest is that. It's done. They're just so well made. If anyone's thinking about buying a Les Paul and doesn't want to spend the Gibson money, Gibsons are great. They're beautiful guitars, but the Japanese Tokais are just insane.
Yeah.
And check out Whitstable Guitars in the UK. Absolute legendary customer service.
I'll put a link in the description of the podcast for Whitstable Guitars, so anyone listening who's interested to go and check them out. It's a superb website. He finds he's not just importing any old stuff. It's like a curated selection of instruments, isn't it, that he's finding? And I find it fascinating going through because I think Japanese instrument builders are as good as US.
For sure.
Do you remember when we were at the guitar show last year and you noticed there was a couple of sellers selling some Gibson instruments that were, I can't remember what you said, but it was a particular distributor in Japan. That's it. Who are very particular about the quality of the instruments going to Japan from the USA. And I think that just goes to show you, how meticulous they are about the quality of things, the craftsmanship.
Absolutely.
I'd love to get myself a decent, I've got the Fernandez, which is technically a Japanese instrument, but to get something that's a bit more artisan eventually, like a Les Paul from Tokai, I'd love to do that as well, man. I'm over the moon for you, dude, although
thanks, buddy.
Slightly less over the moon than I could be because you teased me so much about the new guitar.
I did. Okay. Well, then I had to drag it out because you clocked it straight away because you're a smart man and you know the kind of stupid games that I play. But as soon as I sent it to you, you just went, "If you bought a Japanese Tokai," even though I disguised the headstock. And the truth is, yes, I had. But
I was convinced you'd bought the Gibson Jessica.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then I was like, but why isn't he showing me the headstock? It was because you were hiding the headstock to stop me from thinking it was a Tokai. But in the end, that's what made me think it can't be the Gibson because that's what it's like you're showing me everything except, the thing that reveals what it really is. And so it was just a guess. I thought it could have been, at one point I thought it could have been an Epiphone potentially. I thought maybe I wonder if he's dropped on like an early 2000s Korean Epiphone or something because they're great. Mine's a 2003 Korean built Epiphone and it's fantastic. And I thought so. Yeah, I was in this. And then I was like, I don't want to know.
I'm annoyed already.
Whatever
He's teasing
it is,
you
I'm
too
going to be
much.
so... Yeah, but no, I'm over the moon.
I can't wait for you to play it. It's a lovely guitar. And the good thing for me is that I bought it to gig. And I know if I'd have bought a Jessica or something like that, I would have felt, always a little bit nervous about taking it out, gigging it. The nitrocellulose stuff is beautiful if you like dings and dents and play wear on your guitars and stuff like that, which, call me stupid. I get it if that's what guitars are supposed to do, but I don't like taking guitars out and bringing them home battered. But the polyurethane guitar finish it's hard as nails, right? And even on these Tokais where they do it super thin, it's brilliant. And I take it out and I gig it and I enjoy playing it, and it's done a few gigs with me now, and it just puts a smile on my face.
Awesome.
And it's happy days, dude. Mate. Happy days.
So, dude, and the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, because we're going to go over a bit of guitar news, but one of the things I was reading about, and I don't know if you're aware of this, when Gibson opened the Guitar Garage, or the Gibson Garage, and I didn't realise this, but they announced that Brian May was now a Gibson endorsee or partner or something, or he was a Gibson artist.
Oh, right.
I never knew that in the news. I've only found out because reading in the news recently, he's confirmed that he's working with Gibson on a Murphy Lab version of the Red Special.
Oh, what? That's confused my brain so much. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you imagine what that? Because like you know what I'm like with Murphy Lab. But I definitely get it for the Red Special, because that's not just because my problem has never been necessarily with what the quality of those guitars are really like. My problem's always just been with the commercial sense that Gibson have had in what I've always thought was a little bit of profiteering in the trying to almost extract money from the vintage market for new guitars. But I totally get it for this. I mean, the Red Special is the most unique guitar ever. Designed by Brian May and his dad, built at home, using materials that were available to them there. Not necessarily normal materials. I think like the volume and tone knobs are basically from an old washing machine. His tremolo arm was a bended knitting needle. Things like that. That wasn't necessarily something that could be created, but my understanding is reading it is that he's had the conversations with them and the Murphy Lab about them producing a Murphy Lab version, which might be the closest ever reproduction that you might ever be able to get of that guitar.
Do you know what? That's the thing, right? Because it was under license by... Who was making it? There's a company that was making the Red Special.
It was
under
Burns
license.
Guitars, wasn't it?
Burns.
I think it was Guild first, then Burns. Yeah. Then he started his own company, the Brian May Guitar Company.
Got you.
And all of those have been, I think, varying levels of accuracy.
Of course.
Like the Brian May Guitars version, I think still uses a standard 6 saddle bridge from Wilkinson and things like that. But I think most of them have tried to get as close as possible within the price that they've been able to sell for.
And that's the thing, right? Within the price that they wanted to pitch them at, which I've always felt was a really affordable price point, right?
Yeah.
Sub $1,000, kind of between $500 and $1,000, I think, depending on who was the licensed producer at the time. As close as you were going to get. It had the looks, it had the vibe, it had the feel, and by all accounts, really, really great guitars, particularly for the Brian May fan. But if you wanted to get an actual near as damn it indistinguishable copy of what is a unique instrument in terms of design and everything, who are you going to call, right?
Ghostbusters.
And then once you've called them, right, it's gonna be Murphy Lab.
Yeah,
Murphy Lab.
It has to be those guys, doesn't it? I mean, I can't wait to. I really hope that does come to fruition. I don't care about how limited a run it may or may not be, or how much it costs. I'm assuming that if they do one, it'll be 300 guitars and they'll be 25 grand each, whatever. I think that will be worth it if it's a recreation to the T.
Yes.
It has to be, if they're going to do it, they're going to have to manufacture new parts to do it, because that's what he did, you know. There are parts on that guitar that he created from scratch, from blocks of metal that he machined down with his dad in the shed. I've got a book on it up on my shelf that I think it was I can't remember his name, Simon something, I can't remember, who's a journalist for Guitarist magazine over many years, and he did a book with Brian May on the build of that guitar that includes pictures of the original engineering drawings he did with his dad, the scale drawings, the design, even down to how they engineered the tremolo, because the tremolo on it is completely unique. You know, like your usual floating trem on a guitar, whether it's a 6-pin or a 6-screw or 2-screw, whatever, it's kind of against a screw post, and you're pivoting on the screws. This is more like on his, it's like a razor blade. So it's one long strip of, so the whole bridge, it's kind of shaved down to a razor point along the whole length of it. And that is what pivots against then like a standing piece of metal. It's not flat against the guitar. So it's like so incredibly sensitive, but it's completely frictionless because it's just the very tip of the razor. I mean, it's so well engineered. There's things that he engineered with his dad on that guitar that sometimes I think, why are these not on every other guitar? Because he's engineered it so beautifully well. I mean, obviously he must have done. He's still using the thing, and he's never refretted it, which is nuts to me.
What?
It's never had a refret in his original guitar. It's like, the frets are almost flat to the board, but he's still set up so perfectly that it alternates and plays like he needs it to.
That's insane.
I mean, he may be the finest guitar builder in the world who's only ever built one guitar. I'd love to see. I would love to see a recreation of that. And then if they do it, I'm down at the Gibson garage, man, and I'm playing that because I'd be like, well, I might as well be playing the actual Red Special if Murphy Labs do the job on it that they did on Greenie and things like that.
Well, you're not going to get closer, are you? Yeah. And the fact for them, I mean, what a gift for Murphy Labs as well. Brian May, thank God, is still with us, and will and can be there to consult. He's written the manual on what they did with that guitar. So like those guys have got some reading up to do anyway. And then coupled with the expertise that sits in the Murphy Lab, where they literally forensically and painstakingly, and even if it means inventing new tooling or new manufacturing processes to reproduce certain parts, they do it. I mean, that to me is where the expertise of that level of custom shop makes perfect sense, because that is a true recreation of something that is impossible to recreate by any other means. Like, I mean, I get it around the custom shop Les Pauls and all of that stuff, right? But again, so we've talked about the Gibson Jessica, right? And they'll do everything from super Tom Murphy Lab custom shop recreations all the way through down to the standard line of that, with various degrees of accuracy and specification. But at the end of the day, they're recreating a 3-piece 87 Gibson Les Paul standard. That was not even off the factory line. It was kind of like second. Yeah. Right. So it's kind of like, okay, it's a historic recreation of something that was run of the mill. Yeah. It just so happens to have been played by somebody famous. So then it's now not run of the mill. But it makes perfect sense, and it really excites me. And I'll be there, dude. I'll be there with you. We'll go down and try it.
Yeah, we got to go see it. I really hope they do it, man. I really hope they do it.
Wow. Speaking of Brian May, I don't know if you saw that there was some guitar-related news as well this month around what Brian May has dubbed the closest thing that he's ever seen in terms of recreating the rest of his rig, at least his tone. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that at all. Okay.
Right. So hold on a minute. I will see if I can share this with you while I'm telling you about it. So his quote is, "There's a great simulator that really does the best job of simulating my sound."
Okay.
So Brian May reveals which affordable amp in a box gets closest to nailing his iconic Queen tone. And the headline of this article is, it's not what you might expect, right? Okay. So you would think it must be some sort of like when I first read this and heard that, I was like, okay, so what is it? It's some sort of Kemper thing or
modeling
what
thing.
Is it?
You think it's some kind of digital amp that's got a preset or something. Okay,
but it's not. It's not. It's within the reach of mere mortals like us, and it is in fact a pedal by the wonderful people of Catalinbread, and it is. I'm just going to pop this in the chat for you so you can have a look. Right, there you go. There's a link in the chat for you now to have a look at, buddy. Sorry that took so long. But it's a pedal costing like 180 quid, and it is beautifully artworked, and it's called the Galileo. Which I think, and just look at the artwork on it. If you scroll down, you'll see it. Who wouldn't want that on their board? And Brian May said, I've tried modelers, and there's some very good ones now. There's some great simulators, but this pedal does a really good job of simulating my sound. Speaking of the Catalinbread Galileo. There you go. It's Queen in a box. It's a Queen in a box. That's just overdrive pedal that bottles all his entire rig into one stomp box and costs $180.
So when it says his entire rig, I mean, is it basically meant to be AC30 treble booster?
Correct.
Okay, so
correct.
I mean, I mean, it's beautiful, man. That looks so good. I mean, I'm sure it sounds amazing. I think his tone is one of the things I think people forget about Brian May's tone is, for me, it's all about context. I think it's quite a difficult tone to listen to by itself. It's very upper mid heavy, super ferocious sounding, not easy on the ear at all. It's not the kind of thing where, like you and I, we plug into a Fender amp and we go to the net pickup on the Strat and it sounds big and round and lovely and stuff like that. And you think, oh, that sounds so good. You probably wouldn't do that with his tone, but in the context of the music that he's playing, it always fits perfectly. But I mean, I would love to try this out. I mean, just for that artwork, that kind of golden rendition of a night at the opera, day at the races.
It is that.
Thing. Yeah.
It is that, isn't it? It's reminiscent of that.
Exactly.
I mean, his signal must be so, well, we know about this, right? Because the Vox AC30 is that very high presence, high cutting kind of sound anyway, especially when they're wound up, right? They're renowned for that quality. Then his Red Special and the treble boost, right, in themselves are very bright sounding, cutting, biting tones, right? And I don't think this is urban legend. I think this is true, right? He famously uses like a coiled spiral wound guitar lead, right? And part of it is those leads have a you'll know, you're an electrical engineer, right? But they have a lot more resistance in them and signal loss, particularly high frequency loss. Yeah. So it's actually attenuating some of that innate harshness and treble spike in that signal before it even gets to the AC30. So I think he's commented in the past to say actually even his coiled guitar cable is part of his signal chain because of how it attenuates the EQ.
It's capacitance, so it's that high capacitance in the coil.
Capacitance,
because you'll notice. Obviously, there's always capacitors in your circuitry when you're looking inside a pedal or anything. In a DC circuit, a capacitor is a filter. It filters certain frequencies away. Different values of capacitor will effectively act as like tone shapers, and that's exactly what his cables do. That's quite a common thing for a lot of cables back then. Were made of thinner wire or whatever, and that capacitance would change the tone. But yeah, I mean that because he's got the treble booster. But the Rangemaster treble booster is actually really more of a high mid booster, not necessarily treble booster. So that's why you get that creaminess. Right. So you've got the AC30 cranked because it's no master volume. To crank the preamp, you're also cranking. You're saying, the power amps at full, so you're getting like preamp and power amp loveliness, and then the Rangemaster. But the amazing thing about his tone is just how beautiful the clean sound is when he's rolling everything back. Because I think of songs like Under Pressure and that clean guitar part he plays at the beginning that's really kind of jangly and and super nice. I mean, it's almost like a Telecaster kind of thing. But he's still got the amps cranked. He's still got the Rangemaster cranked, but he's rolling everything off just to get that kind of clean sound that's still so wide open tonally. It's such a great guitar sound. I'd really love to try this pedal, man. I really want to hear it. I know there's a video in the link that you sent me of like some settings from one of the YouTube demo guys. I think it's proguitarshop.com, which have been around for years. So I'm going to go and check that out after this chat.
That's pretty cool, huh? I mean, if Brian May is saying he doesn't strike me as somebody that, and he's always been quite self-deprecating about gear and tone and all of that. As you say, he uses the guitar he built with his dad, right? And he just gets on with the playing rather than stressing about all the gear. He's found what he likes, and it's an AC30, and it's his homemade guitar, and off he goes, and he just gets on with the music, which I think is wonderful. So he's never been one that I've seen that's out there touting the latest gear or signed up to some endorsing agreement or kind of anything like that, where you kind of just think, okay, well, he's put his name to it, so let's see if it's any good or not. So the fact that he's actually endorsing this and saying this is really good and it gets my tone, that I think has a credibility for me, because he doesn't do that very often.
Yeah, absolutely. It means a lot, I think. He says an interesting thing as well, as talking about amps in this article. And he's saying, there's nothing quite like the original when it comes down to it. In the heat of battle, all those tiny little peculiarities count. And when I'm at the top level and top volume, there's nothing quite like those amps. They have a personality of their own, and I couldn't swap it for anything. And I wouldn't like to be on stage with the amps someplace else, which is really interesting. I need my amps to interact with my guitar physically in the air and interact with me, because I feel it in my body as well. I don't think I could do the modelling thing live on stage. I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, if you're in Queen,
amen, Brian,
you have to do it that way, right? You've got to have that wall of AC30s all cranked, ear bleedingly loud. It's the only way. I mean, there's no better guitar sound, I don't think. Except maybe Clapton 24 Nights, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's one we haven't done. Top 10 ultimate guitar tone.
Yeah, exactly. We should do that. There we go. Next week.
That's a good one. This is the guitar tone to aspire to. His tones, for sure. Exactly. It's up there, right? And then the other thing is he plays with an old English coin, right? I forget which one, sixpenny piece or something. I don't know what it is.
Right.
But
it's sixpence, I think.
And again, that I've tried doing it. It completely alters not only the feel but the tone of metal on metal as a picking implement. It's how deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go? I cannot wait for the Gibson press release they put out once they make the guitar, because they're gonna totally go nuts about the way in which they've painstakingly worked with Her Majesty's Royal Mint to reintroduce a new sixpenny limited edition piece that has been gently warmed on the thighs of Tom Murphy before being put into the guitar case. They're gonna totally go nuts on that. They have to.
Can you imagine the case candy that comes with that guitar?
We built a time machine specifically for Tom Murphy to go back. We recreated the circuitry for the DeLorean and put Tom Murphy in it and sent him back to the time when they first minted the original English sixpenny piece.
Yeah.
And that's why we're charging $7 billion for the Brian May Red Special, because
Tom,
literally
we've got a new capacitor for you. What is it? An orange drop? Was it oil film, paper and film? No, it's a flux capacitor.
It's flux. We need you to go back in time and don't mess around going to your high school prom and trying to fix any of that stuff. Don't get a hoverboard, just go back and get some of these old English coins.
What if that's how the Red Special came about anyway?
Conspiracy alert.
Murphy was always there. There's some kind of weird paradox thing there, isn't it? There, where it all becomes one flow of time, some Everettian multiverse. Anyway, so
I love that. I'm totally with you on that. Right. Well, maybe we've had this conversation before, or I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think we've got ourselves a little bit wrapped up in the time continuum.
Yeah, I think I'm mentally constipated all of a sudden.
In any case, I can't wait to see the marketing behind it, but I can't wait to see the guitar itself because, of course, they're going to do a fabulous job of it.
Yeah, man. God, I'm so stoked about it. Yeah, man. Well, we might have to leave it there. Okay, that might be where we have to. So we've been quite quiet on the old Guitar Geek hangout recently as well because we've been so busy.
Yes.
So what we should do when this comes out, I'm going to ask everyone who listens to this to go on the Guitar Geek hangout and tell us what you think about this Brian, the possibility of a Gibson Murphy Lab recreation of the Red Special, arguably probably one of the guitars in the world that's the hardest to recreate, next to probably Willie Nelson's Trigger, but only because that's almost not a guitar anymore. But yeah, I want to hear. I'd love to hear from everyone on the Guitar Geek Hangout and everyone who's a listener on what they think of this, because I think this could be the guitar of the decade. You know, if they get it right, they've got to get it right.
They will. They will. I have faith in them.
Yeah.
I have faith in them.
Exactly.
Complete faith.
I think,
will they get the price right and will they get the marketing right? Let's see.
Oh, man, got it. I can't wait. Can you imagine the marketing train though for that? The teasing pictures, not quite showing the full shape of the guitar. It's blowing my mind actually at how cool this whole thing could be. So I'm such a hypocrite for hating on Murphy Lab for the last 4 years, and now I'm like, they could be the best. They could do the best work ever done.
Of course. It's not that they're not capable. They're the best guitar builders in the world, arguably. At what they do. But I've just been waiting for a project that they could do that really, really excites the pants off me, and this is it. Yeah. This is it. And it's not even. And the thing is, it's not even a Gibson guitar originally.
And you're not even wearing pants, but.
Exactly.
Do you know what? After all that conversation, it'd be really shit if they didn't do it.
We've just started the world's worst lie.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
Cool, dude.
More guitar news to come next time, buddy. We've got plenty more catch up to do. There's some brilliant products that have come out that I want to talk to you about next time. But we've reached the end for today, but it was so much fun. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. But I'm going to make a commitment now that I'm actually going to solder in this bloody mid boost into my Strat, test it out, and I'm going to report back on how how good it sounds and how well it works in the guitar, and I'll share all the details on that next week. So anyway, if I'm chuffed with it, I'll let everyone know where they can go and get the same thing. But man, been so good, long overdue catch up, loved it. Plans for the weekend? Are you gigging?
No, I'm not. I've got the weekend off this weekend, which is great. So some family time, and I'm going to try and do some guitar practice this weekend. Hugely inspired by Mr. Bonamassa, who I saw last week, and I need to get some of those licks under my fingers. Really, Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassas, whoever's they are, there's some ludicrous pentatonic playing that I'm going to try and work on. You can, because I saw a YouTube video, one of your last YouTube videos had exactly that lick that I'm trying to get under my fingers. So I'm gonna try and do some practice. But how about you, buddy? You're gonna wire that Strat this weekend?
Strat this weekend,
Nice.
And enjoy the weather, which has been enjoying this week as well, which has been fantastic. No gigs for me till September, but I'm going to try and make some time now to get to a few jam nights and
that'd be good.
Play a bit of music, see some folks, and have some fun. And that's me, dude.
Pleasure, man. Pleasure. Well, I look forward to catching up, and I can't wait to hear how that mid boost works out, because I think that's one of the mods that I'm definitely got my eyes on for one of my Strats. So please report back.
I will do, dude.
All right, buddy. I'll catch you soon.
All the best, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'll speak to you soon, Kiran. All the best, mate.
Cheers, dude. Bye, mate.
Thanks so much for listening. If you like what you hear, then why not give the rest of our shows a good listen too? And if you love our podcast and are a regular listener who wants to support the show even more, then consider buying us a coffee over on our Buy Me a Coffee page. Anyway, see you again next time on the Guitar Smarts podcast.